Hey everyone, welcome to Working Class Music. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Mays.
Come to you.
And on this week's episode, I think everybody is kind of feeling the economic impact, if you will. So we are doing a shootout between the Squire Classic Vibe JazzMaster and the Squire Vintage Modified JazzMasters. And we're going to answer the question, which is the better buy for you right now? So before we dive into the sounds, let's go over a few of the differences between the two models. First up, the available finishes and the body.
The Vintage Modified comes with a basswood.
Comes
with a basswood body and came available in 4 different finishes: Candy Apple Red, Olympic White, Sonic Blue, and of course Sunburst. The Classic Vibe is a poplar body and comes in 3 of those finishes with a tort pickguard and a few FSR variants here and there. Some variants include Daphne Blue, Seafoam Green, Metallic Purple, White Blonde, Shell Pink, and Black.
Another big difference between the two are the fretboards. The Vintage Modified actually started life with a rosewood neck. The Classic Vibe, which only comes with an Indian Laurel fretboard. The stock pickups are pretty different as well. The Vintage Modified pickups are Duncan design, whereas these Classic Vibes are Fender design Alnico single coil pickups. The vibrato assembly appears to be the same on both. The only big difference is going to be the bridge. The Vintage Modified has a vintage accurate bridge, for better or worse, depending on your preferences. And the Classic Vibe has a Mustang style bridge. Also, it should be noted that the Classic Vibe comes with an actual bone nut, unlike whatever the Vintage Modified is made out of.
Synthetic, if I had to
Synthetic,
guess.
probably. With all of that said, let's get on to the sound. It should be noted that both of these guitars are stock. No upgrades have been done. Yeah, this is a real out-of-the-box experience. Oh no. I'm done.
I was like, what is cutting?
Oh yeah.
What is cutting me? It's the paint.
Yeah. And the Classic Vibe also comes with a relic.
Yeah.
On some models.
Yeah, this is straight out the box, y'all.
Yeah. All right.
So,
final thoughts. So
Final first impression.
Final first impressions. I think the purpose of this video was more so to serve between the differences and or similarities between the two and seeing which one is more deserving of your money, especially since, you know, prices on everything are going up. I'm going to start with pros and cons on both. Let's start with the vintage modified since it's the older one of the two. I love the finish. I think that Candy Apple Red is amazing, and getting a Squire in Candy Apple Red, especially a decent Candy Apple Red, top notch. As far as the JazzMaster goes, it feels and plays like a JazzMaster. There really isn't any downsides, I would say. I would say the pickups do leave a little bit to be desired. They're not bad per se. They're just not what I'm accustomed to. With that said, I don't think they're bad. Vibrato assembly, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think the big stickler...
A stickler for a tickler.
Not a stickler for a tickler.
Not a tickler stickler.
Not a tickler stickler. Tickler.
Stickler on that, especially if you're not doing any mods on it, is going to be the bridge, which surprisingly for us, it didn't pop out. Other than that...
It's sad when we have to be like, surprisingly, it stayed in place.
Yeah, surprisingly, that floating bridge stayed in place. Good bridge.
Right.
I will say, comparing the pickups though, the Duncan had a bit more punch, in my opinion, and the classic vibe was a bit brighter. I think in terms of the neck, the vintage modified is thinner, while the classic vibe has a bit more...
It's chunky.
Yes, it's very, very chunky. If you like that thing, you know, no fat shaming here.
If you like it thick.
Yeah, that's a thick neck.
Thick with two C's.
Yes. Some people prefer rosewood, and if you prefer rosewood, leaning towards that. If I were spending the money between the both of them, given that used prices have kind of stayed the same, and we're just looking at this used because obviously I don't make that new, and I'm that's
Unless you have a time machine.
yes.
If that's the case, I have other questions for you.
Yes, but yeah, if I were picking between the two, I'd probably go the vintage modified. Overall, I think in terms of feeling, I like the classic vibe better. I hate judging the pickups because I change pickups on everything.
Everything.
And so yeah, literally all my guitars do not have the stock pickups.
So mine is going to be quick. Probably I'm going to hit on some of the same points you did. So I guess top down, the neck is thinner, so it's a bit more comfortable. So if you've got tiny, tiny little child baby hands, like I do, this may be the one that you want to lean towards. I will say, and this is honestly me being nitpicky, but I've noticed that like with recent Squires, the maple looks better. I don't know how to describe it, but this, I don't want to say it looks cheap, but it looks a little more...
It doesn't look as flamed.
It looks toy-like.
Yeah.
So like with that, it looks a little more legit. I will say that the classic vibe also has a bit more heft to it. So if weight is a big thing, if you want something, I don't want to say that feels expensive just because it's heavier, but if you want weight to your guitar, I would go this route. Again, the neck is a little thicker, but it's still comfortable.
I will say the tuners on the classic vibe I feel are better. That one doesn't hold tune as well. We were tuning this one more than this one, which says a lot considering that this was straight out of the box.
Yeah. Smaller things to keep in mind, like, you know, with this being newer, I feel like I can definitely see where Squire started and I can see where they're at, if that makes any sense. So there's just a lot of little things that make this, in my opinion, more enjoyable to play. The neck is comfortable. I've got small hands, but even with this being a little thicker, it was still very, very comfortable. I preferred the pickups on this one. I could see it being used for recording. I can see someone gigging with this. I can see someone having rehearsals with one of these rather than one of these. I don't like the vibrato on either one. I'm just going to be just crystal clear on that. I don't like the way they feel. It feels really stiff, but I mean, for not a ton of money, this is, I don't want to say what you can expect, but you know, if you put in a little bit of work and maybe upgrade a couple of the parts, super solid. For the same ballpark, I'm not trying to like shill, but like, I think a JazzMaster would be probably a better spend on money. I know that's completely...
No, I actually I was thinking about that while you were talking, and as far as the vibrato goes, I think if you're looking at Squire, with the exception of the 40th anniversary, because as of recording this video, we have yet to try those, but it looks like a gold version of this vibrato assembly, so my thoughts are they're going to be the same across the board. I do think that with the closer placement on the JazzMaster, that's going to provide a better break angle.
Yeah.
So it might be the better option, not because of quality between the two, but because of the placement.
Yeah, makes sense. Honestly, I know it's tough to say. If you can get your hands on both of them to try them out, that's honestly going to be your best bet. But if you're like a lot of people who just aren't near stores that have a ton of inventory, I hope that, this overview can help make up your mind. So
Yeah. And again, like I said, keep in mind, this comes in a multitude of finishes. It seems like Squire is just like every year there's a new finish.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you're stuck with 4.
Yeah.
And I will say, if you are looking at the Sonic Blue in both, I like the Sonic Blue on the Vintage Modified more so because it doesn't look as pale. It actually looks blue, whereas the Sonic Blue on the Classic Vibe looks a little bit more pale. Like, I don't want to say aged, but it looks closer to Olympic White.
yeah, that's something I've noticed. I don't know if it's a Fender Squire thing, but even with the shell pink, I feel like shell pink is getting lighter.
Yeah.
I thought I was going crazy until I compared my guitar to like an HSS American Professional Strat.
Well, I
was
think
like-
the reason they did that, keep in mind, this is the Classic Vibe 60s, so it's a 60s era.
Yeah.
So it's supposed
More
so they're aging it as an
yeah.
aged guitar.
That makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, honestly, 2 great choices. If I had, $300-400 looking for something used, maybe baby's first JazzMaster, personally, I think I'd go with this guy. But ultimately, it's up to you. Whatever you can find, whatever you can afford, and most importantly, whichever you enjoy. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's going to be something you're playing, not something I'm playing.
Yeah. But let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know which one you prefer, because I'm curious.
Yeah, if you've played both, please let us know. What are your opinions? How do you feel? What's your preference?
Yeah, because we're just trying to save you money.
Honestly, because times are getting tough.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've noticed, but
Yeah. So, with all of that, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, leave us a comment on which one you like better. I can't keep saying that over and over, but I will if I have to drill it into your brain. We have a Patreon with a bunch of Patreon exclusives. Not only that, we have merch. Join us on all the socials. Interact with us. Ask us stupid questions on Instagram. Have fun with us. We are people. We like stuff, I think. Yeah, we like to have fun. We're
I
a
don't-
normal.
I don't like stuff.
You don't like stuff.
Get it out
You don't
of
like, but she likes things,
Get
not
it out of
stuff.
here. Exactly. There's a difference.
Yeah, there is a huge difference. Hit us up. I've been one of your hosts, Jason,
That's you.
and I'm not
Anyway.
Ashley.
Adios, y'all.
Later.